I said, are you ready? Woo!
Good morning.
What's going on?
When you come out, do you always do that with your arms out?
Or yeah, I'll walk out and I'll do that. And then when I did the rumble thing, it was just a little longer.
I think you need to add that to the entrance every time. That just needs to be how we come out of the curtain, is you just come out.
That's I'll come through the court. I'll come through the curtain because the first time, so when we did Roadblock, our very first entrance, my dumbass thinking, okay, like people's gonna see me and it's gonna go. I'm gonna get that Road Warrior pop. It wasn't like announced that we were coming out, so I come out and do that, and it's just like, I'm like,
yeah, hello. It is interesting. It's very humbling sometimes. So maybe that's what we do for our entrance on the 10th, where you come out first and you do yours, and then you can kind of hit the and bring me out, and then we'll go.
I like that. I like that.
Way you get your pop when you come out.
Then we can announce it, but oh shit, I knocked something off. I got a computer today, so like I click stuff and it disappears, and I'm on new territory. But yeah, they will announce like, here's your MCs for the evening or whatever, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, something's coming through. And then
well, because we could almost do where I stand behind it. If I can make it work, I could almost announce you from back there, and then
that'd be cool.
Come out or I don't know. Well, obviously, we can figure that out. We don't have to do it like sitting here, but it's fun. We've never got to like practice our entrance. We always just wing it, and hope for the best.
Yeah, I mean, I basically practice in my head the whole time because voices in my head. I have staff meetings and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I totally the whole thing. Like you can kind of like walk yourself through it. Everything we've got to do with wrestling so far, it's like you have to like go through it in your head and hope for the best. And it's like, all right, brain, come on, man, I need you to function, please.
Yeah, and I'm starting to figure out like I know myself, like I can kind of wing it and do okay. I think if I prepare, I do better. But I'm like, I was sitting there, so this is off not wrestling related, but so I went to Terre Haute today. I had to go to the mall and I had to go get some shirts, and I basically wrote a comedy bit in my head about marriage.
That's awesome.
Now I done forgot it, but it's
that's okay. That you're writing.
Yeah, but it was just like it was like that first time I did a bit in my head at 2:00 in the morning going to West Terre Haute.
That's how those are the best ones sometimes, though. Whenever that stuff just pops in your head, I feel like that's how any of our stuff is. When it just pops in your head and it's easy, that's usually when it's the best stuff.
Yeah. So what's going on this week? Did you enjoy wrestling this week?
Yeah, there was a lot. I caught up on a lot of it the last couple of nights with football and stuff. So I've watched it late at night with my kid the last 2 nights. But yeah, it actually pretty good stuff. I love that leading up to we got the Great American Bash this weekend. You've got SummerSlam. I thought that was tonight.
Oh, is that tonight? I don't know.
Well, maybe that was Tuesday. You're right, because I was watching Raw on a replay last night, so that's why I said it was tomorrow night, and my dumb brain's not understanding.
Unfortunately, I don't have live TV, so I either got to wait for it to come out on Hulu, or I just hop on YouTube and watch the highlights. And yeah, the NXT arena was red, white, and blue, but it's almost like I know they like to do their own shows, which their pay-per-views are pretty good. I call them the PLEs.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it pay-per-views because I'm old, but they put on good shows. But then like they also do what AEW does, like they do Battle of the Belts, where it's like a special episode. And I feel like I don't want to say the NXT that's good enough for NXT. But I mean, it's good enough for me. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
It's good promotion for them because obviously, like I said, NXT is one that I don't usually gravitate towards very often. So it's special things, especially when you bring back the nostalgic names of the pay-per-views and stuff. It kind of draws people back into it. Because had I watched Raw and live and known that it was Tuesday night, I probably would have made it a point to watch it. But with football and everything else. I feel like
Dude,
Tuesday nights and Thursday nights are shot.
To watch wrestling live, if you want to catch all the shows live, dude, you better be getting $100,000 a year because it's a lot. Because I sit here, I'm like, we talk about this, and it's like, dude, I gotta watch like 12 shows, and it's like that's a lot. So I mean, the highlights help.
Yeah, that's why usually I'll watch what I watch, and then the rest of it I'll try to catch up on Twitter, so I kind of get a gist of what's going on. But I did watch pretty much all of Raw, pretty much all of AEW. I had to look up TNA and the rest of them, but for the most part, which TNA, like I said, other than buying the app, there's Access TV, I think, is the only place to watch it. So
you can watch it on TikTok. There are streamers. I think they have an agreement, or I don't say a contract, but they have something where they'll go live, and it's that split screen thing, so you can watch it. And I've watched it live a little bit there, but also I get tired of just sitting there like this. So
yeah, I wish they'd just all go live on YouTube also, and just make it, especially when you're on a network that not a lot of people can watch, or you have to have like a specific, because not a whole lot of people are going to upgrade for the TNA. Now, don't get me wrong, they're starting to gain some steam, I feel like, but I don't feel like they've gained enough speed that I'm going to upgrade my TV package for them.
I think it's a diamond in the rough. Sorry, I'm still adjusting this.
You're good. It kind of threw me off because I was looking up at my camera. And I just saw the whole screen moving. I'm like, oh,
that's what I want to look at you, but on the screen, I have to look at the camera. But when I look at you, I'm looking down.
Yeah, like, you'll eventually get used to it. It's so hard because I'm the same way. I want to look at you. I had to put myself on this side of the screen. That way it's right under the camera. So then I don't usually look at it very often, other than when I'm trying to find stuff on the board that I need to play. Then I try to like side eye it, like, can I see? Can I see it without it looking like I'm the one pressing all the buttons to make this stuff work?
As the kids say, bombastic side eye. But I will say TNA, man, that's probably the diamond in the rough. Like, they have good shows. I will cover it a little bit here in a little bit, but it's like they have good shows, and it's just like people's like, this guy's in TNA. It's like, yeah, dude, like they got some stars there now, bro. Like, good stuff.
Well, and they're kind of bringing back a bunch of guys that didn't quite make it in WWE. They did, but they didn't. Like, they were just always that like mid-card to low-end guy. I don't know that Dolph necessarily deserved that. I feel like he was pretty big then. Cardona's obviously went out on the indies and made a much bigger name for himself. So then to see these guys kind of get their way back into that opportunity will be kind of cool. Because don't they have Survivor Series and War Games both kind of coming up?
Yeah, that's in November. Well, historically November. It could change because they change things. But yeah, it's historically November. But yeah, like NFL. The NFL season just started. They had the Hall of Fame game, Bears Texans last night. But the WWE, that's like the NFL, man. It's like the best of the best, and then so it's hard to stay up there. But then you've got these others like the spring leagues or the I don't want to say second tier, but the next level, below. I mean, so yeah, it's crowded. It gets hard to get up there, and then it's even harder to stay up there. So, like, there's a lot of good wrestlers in these other companies, alt wrestling, if you want to call it that. But there's so many other wrestlers that are really, really good, and it's hard to get up in WWE and stay in WWE.
Well, and my hope is that they utilize those guys and like they do a similar to what they did with Cody, where you kind of had that shock where Cardona's been trying to get his way back into WWE. Like you can see him post stuff about the Rumble or whatever. He's kind of posting his way back there. He's clearly gotten a lot of steam, but then you use him, you got Dolph, you got Mustafa, or I guess Nick Nemeth or whatever the hell his actual name is. And
how do you feel about that when they go and you're like, I'm like, it doesn't matter what your name is. I'm going to call you Dolph. Like,
I'm the same way. It's when he was Dolph for 2 decades, it's hard to then be like, oh yeah, Nick Nemeth, or same thing with Daniel Bryan, then turned into Bryan Danielson. That was a mind fuck for a while. It was wait, hold on. What you have to like reprogram your brain for these guys' names. I get like that on the indie stuff where we find out these guys' real names and then we have their wrestling names. I'm like, I don't know what to call you. This is weird.
Exactly. And that's where it's funny with the kids. Like my daughters, that last show, they came early. So they got to see these guys. They saw the guys, the boys, the men, the women. They didn't see the characters. They got to see the people behind the scenes. And like I'm over here cutting up with him, and my daughter walked over to me. Why are you talking to that guy? He's a bad guy. And I go, honey, and like they know it's predetermined. They know it's that way. But I go, honey, like he's a really nice guy. I said, it's like a character. They play characters, just like we all play characters in our own worlds. We all play these characters. They're good people. They're great people. I said, but when the lights come on, they gotta do what pays the bills. And it's just funny. It's funny, like seeing from a child's perspective, like, oh,
Yeah.
that guy yelled at me, and then he walks over like the next show before the show, and he's like, "How are you, sweetheart?" And it's fun.
My daughter was pissed at Sam Knight after the last show.
What?
Well, yeah, because he chucked me out of the ring. She was not happy that he beat up Daddy. I mean, granted, I was not happy either, so that made clear. I did not have that conversation. I was right. I said, "You're right. He is an asshole." That's exactly what should have.
Well,
it's the exact feeling.
You had a lot of pent-up aggression from all the comments you were saying, and you and Dalton McKenzie, Ashton Adonis, all these guys were saying mean things about him, and I think he just had enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
I mean, if that's all he did to me, I'll take it. Like, I may not be able to.
He didn't punch you in the face. He just castrated you. That's
he just ripped my balls off when I went over the top rope. I don't understand how they do that every time and not rack yourself. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, and it hurts really, really bad. That's why I got on the ground, and there was a little boy on the guardrail whenever I was laying there writhing in pain, and he looked at me and goes, "Did that hurt?" And I was like, "Yeah, buddy. Yeah, it hurt. It did not feel good."
Well, Grandpa Gumnuts, you might have to wear a jock strap. Okay.
Yeah, there was no gum nuts. I just got thrown onto the top of the rope, and 2 for 2. Both times I've been thrown out of a ring. I've been thrown out of the ring 3 times, but 2 of the 3 times that I went over the top rope that way, my balls have been not. You
like to go butt first, like Anthony Lee just set you out.
Yeah, that was hindsight. That was nice of him. Granted, he just threw me down onto like concrete, which was, not super nice of him. But other than that, that is definitely, if you're going to get thrown out of the ring, getting picked up like a toddler is the way to go.
He did pick you up like a toddler.
It was like I was throwing a temper tantrum in the middle of a store, and he just grabs me and picks me up by his shirt and was like, "All right, get up here." He picks me up over and just sets me down. I'm like, "All right, get your ass out of here. There's no reason for you to be in here anymore."
So I do have a question. I don't watch the full shows live. I just see the highlights. Why does Tonga Loa wear an eye patch? Is he a pirate?
I don't know. I honestly, they're on SmackDown still, right?
Yeah.
I've got that one recorded, and that's one that like I'll try to pick up on highlights, but I have had a tough time getting into SmackDown. I don't know why. I just like, and I really like wrestling, and even when it's recorded, like maybe I start watching it. Which Saturday morning we have
recorded. It doesn't feel the same recorded, But Friday night is a horrible night because, especially in the fall, you have high school football going on, you have other things going. The week, I feel like unless you going live, it's hard to catch up on. And then I don't, when I record it or I watch it post live, I'm just kind of like, okay, it's just background noise. I'm like watching, making notes, watching. But it's like when it's live, man, you don't know what's going to happen because usually I don't start watching until Thursday. So I've already seen everything online. So I feel like I've already watched the show.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. There's no incentive to watch it live because if you get on Twitter, you can just see everything. I mean, granted, you have to sift through like people getting murdered and political bullshit. But other than that, you do get to see wrestling stuff.
That is true. I did see, so LA Knight, he did defeat Santos Escobar, and I'm excited about that match at SummerSlam. Logan Paul, LA Knight for the U.S. title at SummerSlam tomorrow night.
I don't know that I know who is Escobar. I don't know that I know that person.
He was in the LWO. He broke away from Ray, so he's like the bad guy LWO. If they're even still faction, he was in that. But I just saw that, and then Logan and Paul came out, and they had a little scuttlebutt briefly. But then they had a gauntlet. They had a gauntlet on SmackDown. I don't know if it was for anything, but the Bloodline ended up winning. But it was either, when you look at all the people who competed, I would say it would have to come down to the Bloodline or the Street Profits because they had Corbin and Cruz. I didn't know they were a tag team. Then Legado del Fantasma. I've never heard of them.
Oh,
Pretty Deadly and the OC. I mean, dude, if this was like 2012, the OC would have been like, yeah, they're gonna they're going to get it. But so I mean, it was Tama and Jacob Fatu of the Bloodline. But I don't know if that was for like a number one contendership or it was just here you go, here's a match.
Yeah,
but there's only like 3 matches.
Yeah, it's been heavy storyline, and I don't know. I can't get into the new Bloodline. I don't know why. And then, like you just said, the OC, same thing. Like, I don't know what it is with WWE factions. The Bloodline originally had a pretty good run with, I mean, I shouldn't say pretty good, had a very good run
Very
with
good run.
the story they were telling and everything that was going on. But it
But
seems
you
like
look at-
faction-wise, they all lose steam. Same thing with the Judgment Day, with the Wyatt Six. Like, there's so many little intricacies that they just seem to struggle with factions now for some reason.
Yeah, I feel like with the Bloodline now, I mean, like Jacob Fatu, I think he could turn the Bloodline around, but it's almost like Avengers that WrestleMania when you had the Bloodline versus Team Cody and all those other guys. That's how I feel with the Avengers. Like any Marvel movies after Endgame, I'm like, I'm good. Like that was it. And that's what I feel like now with the Bloodline is I hope they turn it around. I mean, it's cool to see these other guys coming in, but it's just like, okay, they're basically just doing what Roman was doing. They're dollar store Bloodline, in my opinion. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, and I think that's what they were trying to do. I just don't think they took that part into consideration. I think they were trying to put an end on it. Like they were trying to put a stamp on that book, if that makes sense. And now they're trying to start the sequel of like the post of everything, or the younger version. Like they're almost doing it like a mafia movie kind of thing, where you have Sopranos season 1 and all this craziness happens and it's a great season. Well, then that season ends. Okay, well, where does the story pick up now? Where is the new book?
And maybe that's what they're setting up with Bloodline Civil War, and maybe then the story just takes off. I mean, I feel like it's like a roller coaster. I mean, they were up here. Sorry, I had to get the camera. They were up here at WrestleMania, and then Roman left, Usos were gone, or they're not gone, but they left the Bloodline altogether, and it's like, okay, now are we on the rise, or is it just steady now?
Yeah, and I'm assuming they'll get back to it, but it was definitely a weird thing. Maybe they wait and they have them all start coming back as we get into the fall, going into like the beginning of the year and WrestleMania season would be my guess. Is what they're going to do is you'll start seeing them pop up and the different stories will start. But I don't know, they've kind of hit that lull, which is weird because it's in right at SummerSlam time, which is
maybe that's when Roman comes back, or another. I feel like with SummerSlam here, you've got it's one of the big 4. They're going to bring somebody in, whether it's, I don't know, whether it's Roman coming back or somebody new, a big, powerful person coming in. You just have to wait and see. Maybe you'll see Hammerstone. I don't know if you've seen Hammerstone yet. He's in TNA. I've watched him from MLW to TNA now, and dude, like he looks like Thor. He's like a cross between Hulk Hogan and Thor, in my opinion.
Oh wow! Yeah, another big monster dude.
And I like my wrestlers.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about that before, where it gives that larger than life feel that, like, I don't know, it makes them seem like a different species. It makes them seem like a superhero. Like watching those guys come out, even like back when we were watching with like Triple H. Yeah. What was that dude's name that looked like Joey Diaz? We were watching the old school.
Dino Bravo. Dino Bravo.
Yeah, it looked like Joey Diaz had an early wrestling career.
He did. He might have. But this weekend,
did you watch? Oh, go ahead.
I just had one thing on the battle for the belts in AEW. Dustin Rhodes won the Ring of Honor 6-man belts with the Von Erichs. That was the first. That's the first belt he's won since 2014 with Cody.
Really?
A little highlight there, yeah.
Well, good for him. He's an awesome wrestler.
Dude, he got
I can't hear you anymore. We are experiencing technical difficulties, and I'm not sure whose end it is. Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You're back.
I had to unplug the TikTok mic, but
Oh, damn TikTok mics.
yeah, I know, $8, well worth it though. But like I was saying with Dustin Rhodes, like Vince hated his dad so much that he kind of got crapped on. It was like, dude, he was a very good wrestler. But
well, and they gave him that, which maybe he had something to do with it, but they gave him that gold painted vulgar character that, I mean, obviously back in the day was fun and whatever, but it wasn't what they were going to put a world title on. Like,
yeah,
obviously that's where Cody then got the same treatment, but then came back jacked and had kind of really made a name for himself. So then they didn't really have a choice, which Vince didn't really put the title on him. Triple H did. So
Triple H. We can move to Raw now. The Wyatt Six. I saw their highlight.
Okay.
And they kind of looked like those monsters that we all expected. I don't know. Did they take a 25-minute entrance though?
They did. Yes. And I don't. So then once again, the Creed brothers and Gable are in the ring for 5 fucking minutes going, all right, we're ready. All right. And it's like, whatever the other two lackeys, the lady and
Sister Abigail.
No, on the Gable side.
Oh, it was Brutus Creed, and then the other Creed. I don't know.
Yeah, they have another one though. They have a lady and another guy. They scurried off and ran away.
Oh, that was the Alpha Academy. That was Alpha Academy.
Yeah, so Alpha Academy. So whatever that lady's name is, I cannot remember. Whatever. I don't remember what her name is. But and then there's another dude that's with them. They scurry off immediately as soon as the things hit. And then it's the three of them. It's everybody but Sister Abigail and Uncle Howdy. And the three of them come out. They do their normal stand up. It takes forever for them to walk out. They finally walk out. They stand on the entrance ramp for a few seconds, and then they methodically walk to the ring while the camera keeps cutting back to Chad Gable and the Creed guys going, come on. And it's like, okay, at this point, you're either going to go get them or you're just going to be like, you know what? I'm done. And you walk away. I don't understand why they're not just appearing from out from under the ring. They're not appearing from wherever the hell they can hide them. Like, they got to start. It just takes them too long to get to the ring, and it loses that monstrous feel where they have this supernatural vibe, but then it takes them 60 minutes to walk to the ring, and the guys are just there.
Either appear and get the shock value and then destroy. I mean, I love when they destroyed. Or do the slow, methodical walk, and these dudes run like a bunch of chickens out, like just gone, and then it pans to them like in the crowd, and they're just like, oh, like freaking out, you know?
Or you have Gable send the Creed brothers after him. Like, hey, no, you guys, like, you're there, go get them. And then they run out there and go get them. Well, then, like, you have, like, they come out and they get absolutely obliterated on the ramp. They keep walking, and then Gable's like, basically debating whether he wants to stand there and fight or not, and then inevitably takes off and runs and does this thing. But at least then, like, they're doing something to where you're not just sitting there for multiple minutes watching this entrance going, okay, well, like, if this was a real thing and a real fight, these guys wouldn't just be standing here. He would eventually have sent his guys out to go fight them or do something. Like, I don't know. I feel like we talk about this every week with the Wyatt Six, that there's just so many cool things they could do, but it's like those minor details of that stuff. It kind of takes you out of it when you're watching it, like, rather than it being that, you're almost laughing at it going, oh, for the love of God, they're doing a Undertaker entrance, and these people are in the ring going, come on.
And that's why, like, with the highlights, it just cuts right there. So I don't ever know. I'm like, okay, they showed up, and then you're like, no, 45 minutes later they showed up and then they killed everybody. Well.
And I love it. Like, I love the supernatural characters and I love what they're doing with it, but there's so many things that they could do or draw their attention away and do something like I said with the Bray, where you have AI generated vignettes from Bray where he's kind of like glitching out and it's him talking to them, and then the camera pans back and the Wyatt Six is already standing around the ring, or they're already standing up on the apron, or however you do it. And then Sister Abigail did pop out of nowhere and do like a frog splash style thing. And then Uncle Howdy showed up right behind Gable, and then Gable takes off and runs. And it was like, all right, at that point, like, I was already Like
I'm already
I was
snoozing.
already in the midst of thinking about what we were gonna, because like again, we talked about how we wanted to just talk about the fun, cool things of
Yeah.
wrestling, which I think this could be a really fun, cool thing in wrestling. There's just so many little intricacies of stories that you could do with like just that, like not making your poor guys stand in the ring, especially when he's going to run anyway. If he's going to run anyway and you're not having him fight, so send the Creed brothers out there to get obliterated, and then they kind of pick up some steam and they just charge down, beat the hell out of those two real quick, real easy, and then they just keep going to the ring, and eventually Gable ducks and runs and takes off through the crowd or whatever. But yeah, other than that, it was like the whole thing was really cool. Obviously, you got to watch the highlight of it. So the cut down of the entrance made it look awesome. And if they would have done it that way, I think it would have been even better. But watching it live, it did take a really, really long time for them to get down there. So, but like I said, I really like the Wyatt Six. So hopefully they
Another
keep figuring that one out.
Another cool thing I saw was Sami Zayn finally got some offense on Braun Breaker.
He did.
And then did you see Braun Breaker was on McAfee?
Yeah, and he speared a Sami Zayn fan into the doorway.
I wonder where Pat McAfee got that idea of bringing wrestlers on his podcast and doing.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting where that.
We did it first, Pat.
We did. We win.
Timestamp
They're copying us, even though they probably don't know us, but I think they're copying us.
We did it first.
We did say also timestamp that where we talked about the signs coming back too. And then literally the next week or the week after, there were signs in WWE, which I found very interesting as well.
Maybe WWE's they're watching us.
Maybe that's one of our couple listeners. They watch us.
Be like, these dumb guys are on to something here. What? Maybe we'll listen to them.
We do know our wrestling.
We do.
So was there anything else Raw-wise that was super noteworthy? I know Priest and Gunther had their blow up at the end where Priest beat the shit out of Gunther.
I was just more like, that was cool, but I was still trying to figure out what's up with Seth Rollins' shirt. Like,
oh yeah, the special rep. Well, he always wears that stuff. He's always looks like he's trying to turn into a pterodactyl or some sort of.
It just caught me off guard. I was like, oh, that like, is that going to be his ref shirt? Because I think that would get in the way of like trying to ref.
I would venture to guess, yes, that he's going to wear some sort of obnoxious costume. I think that's just his thing now. He just wears the obnoxious costumes and sunglasses, and that's just the persona now.
Well, okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
I liked the architect though. He was probably
I like that story. I feel like it's
dude. I'll tell you what,
good back and forth.
I think with Gunther and Priest, you got two heavy hitters coming in there, and I think that's going to make each one of them better. Now, I feel like Gunther's going to take the title though. I do, because
he very well could.
He's that dominant guy, and
Triple H loves him too.
Well, yeah, dude, he does a lot of. I saw a meme online the other day, and it had all these dudes with cut up chests, and it said the art, and then it said the artist, and it had him.
Oh, sweet.
The artist is Gunther, but
that'll be a good one too, and that's all Saturday. SummerSlam. I think they have like a 3-hour pre-show or some craziness.
Yeah, it's still one day, isn't it? Still SummerSlam. Still going to be one day. So it's next year.
Starts at 4. And then I think the actual show starts at 7. But I think the like pre-show thingy with McAfee and Cole starts at 4, and then the actual SummerSlam show starts at 7.
Okay, because I think it's next year. They're doing 2 nights. SummerSlam will be 2 days. Okay,
I saw that.
I mean, every match that I have on here is a title match, except for the CM Punk Drew McIntyre, but it has a special referee, so they all have something involved. But
sweet, that'll be a fun one then.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes, he's taking on Solo for the undisputed title. I didn't know that one until I looked it up, but I'm kind of wanting to see that there could be something to that match right there. I mean,
yeah, I think people will. I think you'll see a lot of interferences or come back. I think Cody obviously retains it. I don't foresee him dropping it after all that. I mean, but you never know. I obviously never say never with WWE. They go different ways all the time, but I would almost bet my house on Cody's taking the title.
But I'm like, yeah, because why would Solo? Why would he? I feel like all he's done is just finger point and have Jacob Fatu and the Tongans go out there and do stuff. So
yeah,
it's like,
which he's just taken the Roman structure, and now he's just in that position. So Well, I got a couple minutes before I got to go take my kid out.
Let's go to the Indies. Go straight to the Indies. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about the Indies.
We do. We're good. We got a couple minutes. Did you watch any of AEW?
I just saw the highlights. Like Bryan Danielson's putting his career up on the line versus Swerve Strickland at All In.
So what do you? I think he takes the title and goes on a little run because I don't think he's done yet. So I think he goes on.
Done yet. He's getting close. I feel like he's getting close, but he'll get a title run and then probably hang it up.
Go out on top. That would be my guess. Is what he's going to do. Is he's going to go on one world title run to end his career, kind of thing. Was there any? I watched bits and pieces of it. I did the same thing. I recorded it and then I just kind of played it, but I was wandering around doing stuff and kind of hit and miss watching it. Was there anything else? I know the Anna Jade Mariah May and Toni Storm feud. They progressed. I feel like that match may be the best one. When All In's coming up, isn't it?
It's at the end of August 25th.
Okay. They got a little bit.
But then like Camille, I don't know if that's the new bodyguard for Sasha Banks. So Camille, she was from the NWA. She was a powerhouse. She's going to make a lot of damage, make a lot of noise in the.
Man, the crowd turned on Sasha like they did, or Mercedes, whatever the hell you want to call her. They turned on her like they did The Rock.
Good. I'm not.
She came in and tried to be that like badass that everybody was going to love her, and which maybe she didn't, but that's sure the way it seemed. Like there were some wonky promos before she started really leaning into the heel stuff, but yeah, if we want to jump into the indie promotion stuff real quick before I got to get off.
Yeah. We have Summer Bash coming up next weekend at the 4-H Fairgrounds in Clay County in Brazil, Indiana. Get your tickets. They are on sale at signal10wrestling.com. This is going to be a great show.
And it's been like packing out. So order your tickets ahead of time. That way you guarantee a seat and you will not be disappointed. Definitely bring the kids out. And before we throw through the matches, they are doing a giveaway.
Yes.
So if you bring school supplies to the show, I believe you get a free ticket for the next show, and then you get entered in for a giveaway as well. And I believe the winner of the giveaway picks where the supplies gets donated also. Does that sound right?
I think so. I don't know all the details on that yet, but yeah, I believe that sounds about right. So, and then the following weekend on the 7th, is it 17th? Yeah, 17th. Yep. HCW Built to Last, the West Vigo Community Center. That'll be a good time. That's a lot of hard hitting action there. I mean, get your tickets now. They're open. They got front row, general admission, and floor seats. They've got
another fun venue too.
It's a fun venue. It's an old school venue. It's just you get that nostalgic feel. It's a lot of fun over there too. Those guys
boys beat the shit out of each other.
That they do. That they do. And then this weekend, we have Emerge Wrestling in Columbus. We have the Diner Podcast champion, Sam Knight, teaming up with the number one contender for the Diner Podcast championship, Ashton Adonis. They will be taking on Lee and Smooth. So that's going to be
you did that okay. What you should have said was your old Diner Podcast champion is getting the grace to team up with the new Diner Podcast champion, and he's lucky to be in the ring with the end-all be-all Ashton Adonis, so he can probably save his ass from getting killed.
I don't know about that, but Sam is the current champion. We'll see what happens on the 10th. Well, anything could happen. I'm good. Anything could happen, but Sam Knight is still our champion. He represents our company. You gotta support.
What's going to happen is that bell's going to ring at the end of that match, and this is what you're going to hear. I'll stop. Sorry, I was just enjoying it.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But then it was just announced that Signal 10 is doing a show in September. You can pop up the graphic. Fall Fury, September 28th at Brazil. Tickets will be on sale soon. So we'll see. We'll see who the next in September. We'll see who the actual Diner Podcast champion is. We'll see who Jake Oman retains.
Well, speaking of Jake Oman, White River Wrestling, I just saw, has a show coming up. It looks like on September 22nd.
Okay. in Lapel,
So
Indiana.
so a lot of the usual faces: Jake Oman, Ashton Adonis, Dalton McKenzie, and Mr. Knee Slapper or Thigh Slapper. I'm so sorry.
You're gonna get slapped from him.
I'm gonna get slapped. Yep, it's the thigh slap. I apologize. Please do not, Mr. Vaughn. Please do not slap me. I apologize for screwing up your gimmick.
Yeah, but that should be a fun time to go check out. I have a hair there. It is. So there's a lot of good shows coming up locally in the area in central Indiana.
Yep.
And
we try to say it every time. If you're a fan of wrestling, especially if you have kids, go check out these shows. You will not be disappointed. These guys put on a hell of a performance. They kill their bodies. So go support them. Go buy their merch. And then if you would like some diner merch, we should have a merch table this time at Signal 10 on August 10th. So get your tickets now and you can come buy some of our stuff as well.
We'll have bracelets. We got new bracelets. We'll have stickers and we'll have shirts. So,
and we'll be throwing random things to the children in the crowd. So bring your kids
candy.
and have
some fun. Candy.
No, we have what all do we have? We have all kinds of things.
We got like the hula lays, and then we have I think glow sticks again.
Glow sticks. We'll probably have some wristbands getting flipped out there, some stickers. So bring your kids and come have some fun with us on the 10th, and we will hope that you will not be disappointed. We will give it our best shot.
Yeah. So, well, you got to get going to school. So
you want to
we want to thank our sponsors.
Well, here you go.
I think you have to do it.
All right. Pappy's Barbecue. Meet, eat, repeat. Wabash Valley Plumbing. They lay pipe. U.S. Lawns of Terre Haute. RJ. I fixed it. It doesn't make me look stupid anymore. ML Productions. I also went a little longer, so it wasn't as difficult. Stitched Brands. Peak Performance Gym. No peak, no results. Wabash Valley Adult Teen Challenge. And new sponsor for August, Blue Anchor Roofing and Restoration. Thank you, gold sponsors.
I wasn't sure if I could say it because last week I couldn't say it.
Well, that's all right. We got her through, and it wasn't choppy, which makes me very happy because all morning when I was messing with this stuff, it was screwing up, and I believe that it was fixed on my end, and the new computer has fixed your end. So
It's amazing when you upgrade tools.
Yeah, when we actually get technology that's compatible with what we're attempting to do, it makes things amazing.
That Chromebook, man, that's just a paperweight now. So
yep, I got rid of mine as well. So duly noted, if you're trying to start one of these things, do not use a 4 gig processing Chromebook because they're not going to work for jack shit. So good luck.
Probably all the people that do understand technology, like, yeah, we already knew that.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, dumbasses. we didn't know that. Learning. We learn hooked on phonics style all the way through our business, and we try our best.
Trial and error. That's how.
But I've got to take my kid out to get his schedule and see his locker and such. So I will talk to you here in about an hour.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next Friday. Bye.
Keep fishing.